to do this. And we will have two groups today, trying to convince those members of parliament present here that this would be the right thing to do. One group arguing that this amendment should be adopted by parliament, and the other group is going to argue that we should not adopt such an amendment. Each group will delegate 3 or 4 speakers on this issue. You will have per person 7 minutes roughly to speak at the most. At the minimum 4 minutes. If you speak shorter than 4 minutes, you will be asked to stand there and we will sit in silence and wait for the 4 minutes. 4 minutes speech period to expire. So, but if you have another 4 minutes, then you can start any time. It is really crucial that you do not read your presentations. As you know, you have been allowed to use whatever notes you need. You can read quotes from your presentation, so you can read 1 or 2 sentences that are not directly your own, but you are not allowed to read your presentation, and the jury has been instructed to penalize reading. So, and based on our experience up to now, that this is really an important point. Did I forget anything? I think. Oh yes, and of course we are broadcasting the debate to the Parisian public because they need to be informed about what is going on here. I need to take a seat. So I need just a quick reminder because you didn't hear it. You are allowed to use here. You are allowed to use notes, but you're not allowed to read. That is not good. Okay. So at this point, I would ask and I have one more thing that I forgot. In terms of format, each group will be speaking. The members of each group will be asked to speak in succession. So the pro group will present first. All members of the pro group will present first. Then it will be the members of the con group who will speak. We will have a short break afterwards for us to discuss, and then we will come back for the question and answer period. So speeches, break, question and answer period. Now I would like to start. I would like the first member of the pro team to start with the presentation. Thank you. You may start with the Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bianca Skriniar, and I am representing a group of concerned citizens whose family members are the victims of the virus. And we are here today to decide whether prisoner number 11591's blood could be used to cure numerous lives. We would like to prove that his blood is needed in order to be examined and to save the infected people. In 2023, on the 23rd of May, a very dangerous virus has appeared in the Republic of Piresia. The disease caused a high fatality rate of 78%, and in the low hygiene areas it was 100%. The only person who has not shown any signs of the symptom is prisoner number 11591. And after the analysis of his blood, the doctor stated that he has a natural immunity against this virus. He can donate every 6 weeks of his blood, but in the meantime, several people could die. We would like to demonstrate that his blood is needed, in order to be cure a lot of people. The prisoner has already proved that his state in the community is negative, so he has another state than someone else would have because he killed someone in a member of a society. It was his own decision, so he wasn't forced to do it, but he did it. And the majority of the people assume that killing is, so we shouldn't kill, and it's a kind of standard of morality. However, there will always be a minority who will do it, but it's their free will. So it's their choice of their free will. And that is how the topic requires a philosophical view about free will. And as you probably all know, every individual has the free will. Therefore, they have the right to live, and this right cannot be taken away from them. And if someone takes someone else's life, then shouldn't his life also taken away, especially when it would save a lot of lives. And another philosophical view is that according to the traditional morality, and it includes the religions, killing someone is absolutely unacceptable. So the ethical norm that is in the Golden Rule provided, one should treat others as one would like others to treat oneself, or as the Silver Rule states, one should not treat others in the ways that one would not like to be treated. Consequently, if he killed someone, then he could be also sacrificed for the greater good. And morality could not exist without a human community, and that is why we have to consider the rights of the society first. And as I had mentioned, the prisoner has already shown a negative state in the community, and the citizens are worried and would like to have a possible solution, and they are begging for the prisoner to send or donate them blood to cure their family members. But if he would donate his blood, the infected people would be cured, and not just them would be cured, but it would also stop the virus. I mean, it would be less spread. And consequently, in this case, I would say that the rights of the community rise above the rights of the individual. And however, the prisoner's family would be shattered. It wouldn't have been that much of a loss than for the world, because a lot of people would die. Just only in the first wave of the virus, 712 people died. So imagine how many people could die. Furthermore, I would like to approach this situation from the view of the prisoner. So however he refused to donate his blood, it is so much of a pressure that he is asked to give blood. So this will definitely affect on him, and after a time he would probably have a breakdown because this pressure is unbearable. So to summarize, prisoner number 11591 has shown a negative behavior with killing of an innocent person, which is ethically absolutely unacceptable. And against the virus is only his blood immune, and we are asking the jury respectfully to consider our request to use his blood and save numerous lives. Now I would like to thank you for your attention, and the next speaker is Balint, who is going to talk about the virus. Thank you very much.
My name is Balint and I'm a virus expert. I'm here to talk about the threat, what this virus means to the world, and it's a very hard job to demonstrate how this virus would affect our society, because we know little about it. The main thing we know about it is that it has a high fatality rate. It's killing people in a very short time, and it's a waterborne virus. The last thing is crucial in the demonstration of the consequences of this virus. The first thing that we need to know about the waterborne virus is that it has many kinds of, it includes many kinds of diseases and viruses. Most of these viruses are spreading by contacting with water, for example, showering, drinking, or eating food that contains this water. For example, fruits or vegetables. A waterborne virus can also become a so-called bioaerosol, which means that it can spread by sneezing and coughing. If this virus would get into a larger city, for example Tokyo, it would kill millions of people. At the moment, Tokyo's population is 37 million people. From this, 30 million people won't be able to defend themselves against the virus, and probably they will die. Another thing that is a problem with the waterborne viruses is that they can spread in water, and we can't know where they are at the moment. For example, if they can get into a river, they can survive in the river for a half month, and that means that they can infect other cities and populations along the river. It also means that they can spread by selling or buying food from another country. So export and import will be very dangerous to other countries. Piresia have tried to protect their people against the virus with a quarantine, but as the virus showed, it's not so effective as we think, and that is also because the virus is waterborne, and we can't stop it with a natural quarantine. And if we want to stop it, the best way is to find a cure against it, and as far as we know, the only cure is the blood of the prisoner. Thank you for the attention.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'm Tamás Tolerian, and I am a sociologist expert, and I'm going to argue that we should sacrifice the life of the prisoner to save many more lives. There are many serious disasters that can experience our society, but none of them are as fearsome as pandemic, because in the case of, for example, an earthquake, if you live far from the epicenter of the disaster, you don't have to fear that you will die, because you are safe. And however, in the in the case of the pandemic, it will spread, and at some time it will reach you and you will get infected. So it's why it's much more worse than any other disasters. When the spreading starts, at first, people who live far from the outbreak would receive the information from the news, and they wouldn't notice much, and they wouldn't care about it because they would say that it's very far away and it won't affect them. However, as time goes on, they will start to feel slight effects of the virus. For example, in the infected countries, as I will tell later, right, there won't be any production, so there will be shortages, and there might be starvation as well. At this point, the government has the chance to introduce a quarantine, but as Balint showed it, it's not a very good option because of the type of the virus. So it will, if they even try to introduce quarantine, it will end up just like they didn't do anything. And if in this case there won't be people, there are a lot of people driven by fear, so they won't want to go to work because they try to build up supplies at home and just try to survive. And in this case, there won't be court, police, there won't be electricity or water, so it would be very hard to survive. And after they are out of supplies, they need to get their food and water from other people. So they will surely kill each other, and a lot of people will die, not just because from the virus, but from the killing as well. And if they are not willing to go to work, there won't be any production as well. We can call this state an anarchy, which is pretty similar to the state of nature which Hobbes describes. He describes it as so people only care about their own safety and not about the others. As we know that there won't be any production because people won't go to work, so then it will passes to other countries as well. So there will be also shortage of goods and starvation. So you can imagine this as a chain that goes on, and it's only a matter of time when we stop the chain. If the longer we let the virus to live, we give it a higher chance to destroy our society, because the society is very fragile and it can get destroyed in only a very short time. But it took centuries to build up the institutions and the laws. And if we destroy it, people will lose their trust to the institutions, and we will travel back centuries to the past. And it's why we cannot let this virus to live long. Thank you for your attention.
I am the lawyer who introduces the standpoint of the Piresian government. As my expert colleagues have already presented, the survival of the humans in Piresia and every man almost is in the hand of only one person. The Piresian government had argued and decided that we want to choose to live instead of dying. We think that one man's life is important, but the government is responsible for every other man, woman. We have to choose to save those lives. So if we don't take that chance, it is also a crime. If we just stand by and do not react quickly, then we also kill a lot of people by not giving them the chance to survive. If we have the means to save lives and we don't, because we don't want to take responsibility of killing a man, then we are also indirectly responsible for the death of the other people who don't survive because of our decision. For example, if we saw a man in the street and the bus is coming for him and we can save him, but we don't save him because we don't care, then we are indirectly responsible for his death, because we didn't kill him, but we didn't save him either, so we are responsible for his death. Our point is that every man and woman should consider that his or that other people's life is more important from him or her, and we think that almost everybody would choose his or her life instead of the other prisoner's life, which means that people would live instead of dying. This virus, as already Vine told us, is a waterborne virus, which means that it is spreading in drinking water and in foods too. And it is the government's job to sterilize it, which costs a lot of money and money problems for the government. And that money we would pay to sterilize this virus could be used in other areas, like expand hospitals or to take every infected person. And if we don't stop this virus, then it can kill a lot of people. And if those working people do not exist or do not work, then it will there will become a crisis to this country. And in these difficult times, that prisoner could become a hero by saving us, but he chose to kill all these men and women like once he chose that in the past. And with this decision, he betrayed us in a very selfish way, because he had chosen his life, not the man and every woman in Piresia, and maybe all around the world, because this virus can go out of our borders and then it can kill a lot of men and women too. And the question was that do we argue with that we die and that only that one man is living? And I think that every man should decide this, but the government's answer is that we save every life we can with our power.
Thank you very much.
Actually,
30 more seconds. I'll just go back this for 30 seconds.
Yes.
Most akkor
Csak egy 30 másodperc.
mit is csináljuk?
You can speak or you cannot speak, it's your choice. If you have anything more to say, you can have to listen. You don't have anything more to say, then we enjoy the silence.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, then we asked the representative from the common group to stand by their approach to the amendment.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm Balint Terlik, and after I heard these arguments, next to on the side of changing the law and sacrificing or executing this this prisoner, I still think the right decision would be to not execute our prisoner, because they forget a really important thing, that how the law of the United States of America works, because in our law system there are precedents. That means that in a case, if we decided to do a thing, then in a later case we can relate to the decision of the previous case and bring up the previous case as an argue to our case. And if we're talking about a precedent that says it's okay to kill men if it's better to more men, and I think that could lead some really bad things in the future. Just imagine like there is another plague in the future, and it would be good to see how the plague spreads, because then we could research this disease and get to know more about this, and maybe do things against it. And it wouldn't be okay to like look up a little village in Africa and spread the virus there to see how it spreads, which are the weak point of a village to this disease, and after that we could improve our cities and our cities could be more defended against this virus. In this case, if we would accept this precedent, it would say that yes, it is okay. You can argue that we're talking about a convict here, but the same things applies to a prison. We could spread this virus in a locked up prison, and then only criminals would die. But think about what could give a man a prison sentence? What crime could they commit? In some countries, you could get to prison for drawing a little picture of Muhammad, or if you're a woman, you could get to prison for driving a car or being alone in the streets without a man or another woman to be with you, sir. And in this case, they will die, and it will be okay. As the Article 6.1 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights says, every human being has the inherent right to life. This right shall be protected by law. No one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his life. This covenant was accepted by all of the countries in the world, and I think that was a good decision, because it gave a basic laws and the basic right to do and not right to do things. What I see now in this case reminds me of a pack of animals who are scared of something, and they are trying to escape of that thing, and during the escape they are like stomping each other and killing each other in their big panic. And I understand why this epidemic could be scary, but I think we should be able to survive these hard times without killing each other and sacrificing and executing each other for the sake of remaining humans. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, actually, one more question before you go. Who are you? I know your name.
I'm a lawyer.
You're a lawyer, okay.
Yeah, sure.
Who do you represent?
Well,
Who do you represent?
the call.
Well, more specific, but okay, fine. Yeah. Excuse me, can I have silence please for the speaker? Excuse me again, can I have please some respect for the speaker? It's very difficult to speak on themselves. Thank you.
Dear all, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Daniel Biro, biologist professor from Harvard University, and my specialty is microbiology. So now in this trial, I would like to point out some important facts about this case that we cannot leave out of consideration. I do not approach this issue from moral and emotional sides. I strictly observe it from the side of the sciences. In this case, the past of the donor doesn't matter. Being guilty or a law-abiding citizen is irrelevant. First of all, if we chose this option to kill this gentleman, we use up all of the prisoner's blood. We can combat and stop Bubs 21. Can we assert that completely sure? In biological and chemical areas, we can never be 100% sure in anything. And that is the reason why we do so many experiments again and again before we accept something. If you read through the case carefully, we can see that the idea of killing him may need a rethink. It says, it was found that extracting certain parts of prisoner number 11591's blood can successfully combat the disease in a majority of patients. This shows that even if we killed him, we would not save all patients because not everyone was able to beat the virus with the help of his blood either. The other important thing is that a person has only 5 liter blood in general, and as I mentioned before, just a certain part of his blood can combat the virus. So there is a very little amount of blood we could use instantly. Or if we choose to suck out all of his blood, then continue the experimentation, we get to the same point again as if we did not kill him. Experimentation requires time, and we should give it. Since in natural sciences new discoveries turn up every single day, we can declare surely that a solution that does not require murder will appear. We have to focus on working more areas, which needs time and money, but it also brings a more reliable and effective outcome. There are several possibilities to do it. We should search for others with the same type of blood. We should think about gene manipulation. We should think about the fact that after getting from the prisoner's blood, others can become immune as well. I suggest that we should try another method. We can take blood from him in every 6 weeks. That would be the most equitable solution. And we will not kill him, but we would get the blood to examine, and during it, we would have also time to find out more about the virus and overcoming of it. In conclusion, I would like to ask a question. What are we going to do if we kill the only person who is the source of help, and because of some failure, for example, a blackout, the drained blood becomes unusable?
Okay, thank you. Adam? Okay.
Yes, something to add to this?
No, it's okay.
Have you wrote this one?
No.
Okay. I'm just visualizing. Who wrote this?
Channel.
Channel. So just read it out.
Oh, so this is
Yeah.
Shannon, so
Yeah.
because the sound so familiar.
so let's escape here and read Shannon's paper.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. That's an important one. Okay, I got it.
So what is it now?
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Milestone, theoretical expert. I will talk about defending this prisoner who is ought to be sacrificed because of his strength and immunity. I will examine this point two aspects, religious part and the scientific part. First, I will talk about Christianity. If God gave us free will to decide what is good to our lives or not, we can afford to adjudicate the other people's life. In Christian morality, the personal freedom means that the individual can decide his or her life's questions. If this freedom is not untrammeled, because the other people's freedom can affect this. This means, in our case, that we can only affect this prisoner's freedom by killing him. But killing him is a capital offense. And also, I found the connection between our prisoner's case and the Holocaust. The Holocaust was built up to various levels. First, there were just lockouts, then later on executing and slaughtering the people of different religions and races. All this was made by hateless people. The question comes up, would you sacrifice him if he would be the Prime Minister of America or other good person with a good reputation? If yes, could it be the next level of the new Holocaust? Will the next level be in this Holocaust that we will executing thousands of people just to get advantages in life? I think we can easily get an answer for these questions. We must not let this prisoner to be sacrificed. Yes, he did a mistake, but he was punished for it. In history, we can hear about many sacrifices, for example, the Aztecs, Incas, and many antique empires. But that led only to bloodshed, nothing more. And nowadays, I think we are capable for intelligent solutions, not barbarian massacres. And from the second aspect, scientific part, I will examine this from the side of the Darwinism. This is based on Charles Darwin's theory that species develop through the natural selection, and if the strong survives, it's increasing the individual's ability to survive and improve. In our case, the prisoner seems to be strong, and if he survives, it can increase the humanity's flexibility and the ability to develop against this virus. And if we kill him, the next generation won't be able to defer to the hard situations, and that can inevitably inevitably can lead to the mankind extinction. Well, thank you for the attention.
Minute. Okay, thank you. We did ask you to stay for another minute.
Or you can add something.
Yes, it would be better.
Well, I have a question that would you sacrifice him if he would be the President of America? What if no? Then you just sacrificing him because he's a prisoner? Or what else?
Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Dominic Matic, and I'm here to represent the prisoner's rights. First of all, I must state that my client is not an object and not a number, so not the prisoner number 1, whatever. He's a human being such as I or anyone else in this room, so he has the rights to live. And
Dominic, one second. Speak a bit slower, I think, and a bit more loud.
okay.
It's very good, otherwise just, yeah.
So he's a human being as anyone else in this room, and he has the rights to live, and under no circumstances should anyone take away this right from him. Moreover, he has clearly declined this process when he will be killed to save a couple of thousands of people. So people want to kill him against his will, which means that people want to kill him because because they think that they will be better of it. So it's kind of a murder, and if it's a murder, then we're talking about an execution. What everyone must see that we cannot use simple mathematics in this matter, because let's say that now we would sacrifice my client, and then a couple of thousands of people will be saved. But the next month there will be another thing like this, another virus, and then we would kill a person for 100 others, then a person for 10 others, then a person for 3 others. So where is the limit where we can stop? Or is there a limit at all? Because I think no, there is no limit. We cannot use simple mathematics. We cannot just adapt human lives like this. I do not deny that my client was not the best person on earth, but he has his punishments for his mistakes, and he started to serve it, and he has served 8 hard and long years in a prison. So he cannot be sacrificed because of his mistake. So he cannot be punished twice for the same crime. My client came from a very bad environment with a poor family background, and he hadn't finished his education. So, as Lochner's study says, that people who had at least 8 years of education are more than 75% likely to less likely to go to prison. So it's not an outstanding case. I must state here that I'm not trying to save my client from the fact that he murdered a person. I'm just trying to make clear that it's not an outstanding case, and we shouldn't judge him because of this. If we judge him because of this, then then we can think that so if you judge him because of this, then we kill him because he's immune to this virus. And as has already been mentioned, it's not a good thing in either of Judaism or in Christianity. So if we discriminate him because of this lucky virtue, and we discriminate him because his state of birth, then we can say that it's a kind of racism. So, and I'm sure that no one in this room would want to be racist, so we shouldn't sacrifice my client. And I would also like to finish with a question that would we kill the best person on earth? As also, it's maybe I'll talk about it, but perhaps someone with a Nobel Peace Prize, would we kill him? I really think no. Then just think about it. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Okay, this is the last presentation. Okay, so I will ask you for a 10-minute break. Please go outside while we debate, and then we will be back with the question and answer. Thank you.